Now, on the flip side, on those days when I would just get up and, I had my stuff I needed to do, but I really wasn't motivated to do it, or I had a client that I wanted to work with, or I didn't want to work with, a client that was kind of a drain sometimes, that would just run my whole day. And what I did again there was, no matter who I was working with, I changed my attitude. I decided that this is not about me. This is not about Ryan. This is about being of service to the people that are there to talk with or just to be with. And when I gave up my attachment to how I felt about certain situations, those situations again changed and shifted. And so the moodiness went away. All right, so remember that. If you find yourself in a mood, do something that will make yourself happy. Get up, get to work, put your mind to some task, or do something creative, or just tell yourself, I'm really and truly going to enjoy this, and that will change the mood. And it doesn't work all the time. Sometimes it's harder than others. But if you practice, the easier it gets. I don't remember if I told this story here, but I know I told it at the Yoga Sutras class a few weeks ago. I was having a really bad day. Well, the day before was great. It was long meditations, everything was blissful and happy, went for walks, these sorts of things. So, that'd be great if that continued, right? But I woke up, it was Monday morning, it was the complete opposite. The phone didn't work, people were calling about things. I couldn't get an email to go out. It was one thing after the other. Something happened to the car. It was one thing after the other. I was thinking, what is going on? But I just kept going. And I thought, well, let's just see what happens. So I went to sleep and I woke up the next day. Felt a little bit better, but then things started to go wrong again. And I said, no, this is not going to happen again today. I actually emphatically told myself that. I said, I don't care. This is not going to happen again today. And what I found was as soon as I made that assertion, as soon as I said that out loud, things got better. So you have more control over circumstances than you think. Now you have to endure what comes if you can't control it. But then if it continues and it becomes like habitual, then you might need to just decide, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to engage in that. And practice that and see how it works for you. Now, one more thing I want to read from here before we meditate. Okay, so Yogananda goes on to say one of the other ways that you can work with this. And this part of the talk was entitled The Magical Effects of Sincere Love. So he says that moods blunt one's feelings and understanding, making it impossible to get along with others. Domestic life should be a temple of heaven, but moods can make it a Hades. A husband comes home and finds his wife in a sullen mood and he can't reason with her. Or he returns from work in a nasty mood and she can't reason with him. So much trouble comes to people because of moods. When someone else in your family is seething with anger or is wholly indifferent, you are affected immediately by their mood. Or perhaps you go to someone in great joy, but he is moody and quarrelsome, and finally he gives you a slap. Immediately your joy vanishes and you want to retaliate. Do not put on the mood of another. The Bible tells us that if anyone smites us on the left cheek, we should turn the right cheek. And how many do that? More often the person slapped wants to give his assailant 12 slaps in reprisal, or perhaps a kick, or even a bullet. It is easy to strike back, but to give love is the highest way to disarm your persecutor. Even if it doesn't work at the time, he will never be able to forget that when he gave you a slap, you gave him love in return. That love must be sincere when it comes from the heart. And when it comes from the heart, it is magical. You should not look for the effects. Even if your love is spurned, pay no attention. And give love and forget. Don't expect anything, and you will see the magical result. Do you realize that within you, in your soul, is a superb garden, a wondrous garden of thoughts, fragrant with love, goodness, understanding, and peace, and more beautiful than any earthly flowers that grow? You cultivated a fragrant blossom whenever someone in anger misunderstood you, and you continuously gave love to that person. Isn't the aroma of that love and understanding more lasting than any rose? So always think of your mind as a garden and keep it beautiful and fragrant with divine thoughts. Let it not become a mud pond rank with malodorous, hateful moods. If you cultivate the heavenly scented blossoms of peace and love, the bee of infinite consciousness will steal into your garden. And as the bee seeks out only those flowers that are sweet with honey, so God comes only when your life is sweet with honeyed thoughts. Resolve that in your garden of good soul qualities that you will not allow the evil stinkweed of anger to grow. The more you develop flower-like divine qualities, the more God will reveal to you His secret omnipresence in your soul. And this is from the Bhagavad Gita. He who is tranquil before friend and foe alike, and encountering adoration and insult, and during the experiences of warmth and chill, and of pleasure and suffering, that person is dear to me. By continuously giving love to those who are unkind, peace to those who are harassed by worries, sweetness to those who are bitter, joy to those who are laden with miseries, and by constantly setting a better example for those who follow the path of error, you destroy moods by keeping the mind creatively busy. And if you can't be busy outwardly, be constructively busy inwardly. And so, by being constructively busy inwardly, he's not talking about thinking all the time. He's talking about maintaining that state of peace and clarity and divinity. And so again, when moods and thoughts come up, the very best way that you can change that is by thinking thoughts of love and peace for other people. Anytime you get in a mood, just sit down and do your best to meditate and get clear and get calm. And what I do is, once I sit, I do my practice. And when I do the Kriya practice, pulling the electrical current, life force current up through the spine, I imagine that with each breath, I'm carrying with me on that breath all the reasons I think I have to be in a foul mood, right? So whatever comes up, whatever it is, little things, big things, I pull it up and I just imagine that I'm giving that up to the infinite consciousness. And I let it go. And if it's still there, I do it again, and I do it again, and I do it again, and I keep doing it until it's not there anymore. And then once that's accomplished, then what I do is all right, so now it's cleared out. So now I just imagine infinite love. What would it be like if everything was perfect and fulfilled? And I pull that up through. And now I also give that up to the infinite consciousness. I do it again, and again, and again, until eventually there's no need to do it anymore, because you just become so established in that state of harmony, and it's almost like a really intense vibration that you might feel. You're so established in that state of harmony and love and in peace that that's all you're aware of, and that's all you're aware of everywhere. And so that's one way to overcome moods, by using your meditation, your spiritual practice.